Hello everyone, Brandon here with Badger Breath. I just want to show you guys how to get some pepper seeds started for your garden. Okay, so when you're getting really any seeds started, especially in a climate like ours, we kind of have a short growing season, especially for peppers. So you're going to want to start things indoors. So we're in my basement right now, and I'm just going to show you some of the really basic things that you're going to need to get a good start to a pepper harvest for next year. So chilies take a good amount of time to germinate. They can take sometimes up to 6 weeks. I've had them take even longer, past 2 months, where I put the tray to the side, fully expecting it not to go, and then a couple days later you're like, wow, I can't believe that seed just started. Some of them can take just a matter of days. So really the start of a good pepper harvest obviously is going to be your seeds. It may not be obvious to some, but I prefer to start with a really reputable seed grower. So I have a few favorites. One of mine is a guy who goes by the name of Jimmy Pickles, jppepperseeds.com. He's a really good guy. He has some amazing things. Some of the best things I've grown have come from him. Pucker Butt Pepper Company is another great one. Refining Fire Chilies is another really good one. But basically you're going to want to start with some really good seeds. So like here's an example from Jimmy Pickles. So that's a ghost pepper. So start with a nice quality seed. For this video, I got some orange habaneros. I got these from a friend in actually a pepper group community. So I also encourage you guys all, if you start doing something like this, definitely go on Facebook, join a group. There's a lot of really nice people out there. They'll show you a lot of really cool tips and tricks. So the next thing you're probably going to want to worry about is getting yourself some seedling trays. I actually kind of really like these. So you have this bottom tray that collects all the water. You have your seedling trays. These are reusable. I've used them already like 3 or 4 times. They're holding it pretty well. And then it has this little lid, which has this little dial in there. You put that in, you can dial in how much or how little amount of humidity you want to escape from the whole spiel. So that all goes together like that. These things are great for getting your seedlings started. So I definitely recommend getting something like this. There's tons of different varieties of those. So, you know, whatever looks good to you, go for that. This is called a dibbler, I believe. You could just use a pencil. You could use the tip of your finger. It doesn't really matter. But I actually really like this. You're definitely going to want to get yourself something to mark your trays with, whether that's a piece of paper, and you can just map out your peppers rather. Otherwise, I like to use these little plastic tags because then I can take them right from the seedling tray, right to the next pot, right to the outside, and they hold up really well. And then I just use a Sharpie for that. The other thing you're going to want to think about, and it's kind of overlooked a lot of the time, but especially if you're going to be growing these super hot peppers, I kind of learned the hard way, but definitely get yourself some rubber gloves, because if you handle these super hot pepper seeds, they are hot. And if you accidentally touch your eye afterwards or something else like that, you will get burned, and it is unpleasant. So definitely wear your gloves when you're handling the super hot peppers. So then the other thing that I would recommend that you would get is a heat mat. This is a non-thermostatic one, so it just gets to about 90 or so degrees. And you just set your trays on it. And then the other thing you're definitely going to need is some kind of a grow light. You can get something as simple as a bulb from Home Depot or something that screws into a lamp that you already have at home. I recommend something similar to this. This one's a 4-foot one. Behind me in this shelf, there's the 2-foot models that I have already tied up. But these things are great. And then last but not least, you're definitely going to need to get some kind of soil medium to start your seeds in. Okay, now the next few things are a little bit optional, but I do think that they are worth having. They help you out a good amount. Little squirt bottles like this. These are really nice when you have very small seedlings and you want to get in there and water. I'm a big fan of the Fox Farm brand, but in general, a fertilizer to keep around that's water soluble so that you can put it in. And then a good thing to always keep around is just CalMag. Anytime you see a little bit of calcium deficiency, it's good to throw that in there. And honestly, I usually do a little bit of CalMag every watering, not a terrible amount, but my seedlings here in my scenario tend to get a little bit calcium deficient, so I just stay on top of it. And then the other thing that I like to keep around is just a little snippers. So if you have rogue leaves or anything, it's just nice to have that so you're not ripping or tearing at the actual plant. If you're trying to keep flower budding down while they're indoors so that you can keep some healthy growth going, definitely good to have around. Then the other thing I like to keep around, and mine's full right now of water, is a chemical sprayer. And it's not for chemicals, but I modified mine with a little piece of flexible rubber hose from the auto parts store, and I just kind of shoved it on there. But I use this for watering inside. And when you have, somewhere in the neighborhood of 100, 150, 200 seedling plants like I do, this saves you a ton of time. Okay, so let's just I'll just do a really quick tutorial, I suppose, on filling one of these trays up, and I'll just show you the table that I'm working on then. Okay, so to get things started, just get your tray down. I'm gonna take this out of here for now. Put that right there. Let's take some of your seedling mix. I just kind of go over the top, kind of mound it up. This stuff is really dry because it's been sitting out for a while, so it's really kind of fluffy. Just kind of shake that around, get that all in there. Now this table I use specifically for doing this kind of thing, so I don't really mind flying all this dirt around here because I just sweep it up after I'm done and everything's cool. But make sure your wife is cool with you ruining your kitchen table or something like that before you do something like this at home. So just kind of get this, I'm not pressing very hard right now, guys. Just kind of getting this mix in here real light, but also nice and full, because when we water this is going to shrink quite a bit here. So let's get another quick little layer. Make sure those cells are nice and filled to the top. So then what I'm going to do is I will take my watering jug here, and I'm just going to kind of give this a little bit of a soak down. Cool. So that's nice and moistened. We have our soil in there. At this point, we can put this guy in here. That's fine. We'll just kind of sweep this out of our way. We got that there. Now, we'll get our soil out of our way. Now, when I plant my seeds, I forgot where I put my little dibbler here. Okay, so now when I plant my seeds, I just kind of do a little bit on here. I only go maybe a quarter to an eighth of an inch down. They don't need to be down that far. Cool. So we have all those made. The other thing I like to use that I didn't mention before, this is just like a piece of thicker cardstock. I just kind of tear a little chunk of this and make myself a little bit of a folded kind of funnel here. Take my seeds, open those up, put those onto the tray, so that looks like about the amount we need. And now this makes it really nice and easy. I just kind of hold it like this, give this a little bit of a tap. See how they kind of just wiggle down there like that. Get one right there. I kind of flicked that one so it went a little crazy. Now this seed doesn't look good to me. So I'm just gonna get that one out of there. Oop. Leave that one there. So I did that one already. Accident. Oh, so that's a catastrophe, but that's fine. It's okay if you get more than one seed per hole. Obviously, it's not ideal. When you're dealing with some of the more expensive peppers, I'm definitely a little bit more careful, I guess is the word, than I am right now. These are just really generic. They're orange habanero peppers. These are ones you get in the grocery store. So there's nothing too fancy. These are just to show you guys here. So then I just get these guys in there, and then don't cover them very hard. Just enough so that the dirt totally goes over that hole and covers that seed. Okay, so we got that. And then the, really important thing that a lot of people like to forget is to label. So we got that orange hob there. We'll put that guy right in there. Take your lid, go over top. And now really what I like to do before I do that actually on these trays, because they have the reservoir, I like to fill this just enough to basically cover those ribs and go like that. And what you can do to promote more growth from the bottom up on these kinds of styles of trays is you can take this out and water down here rather than from the top down. That'll promote your roots to grow, to stretch for that water more. So then you got that in there. You're gonna put your lid on, and then find a nice place with that heat mat we talked about. Slide that in there. So where I usually put my seedlings is, this is where my other mat is right now. Just a nice little area. I have one of those 2-foot lights in here. It's about a foot off of the top there. And just kind of put those in there, let them take off, check on them every once in a while. Try not to overwater. It's really easy to overwater seedlings. Yeah, and then eventually they're just gonna shoot off and you're gonna have a really good time. So yeah, that's it guys. A few things I just want you to take away from all this that I may have kind of skimmed over before. Especially dealing with chili peppers, have patience. They take a good amount of time. Sometimes they can take a few days. Sometimes they can take 6-8 weeks. There's really no tried and true on how long they're gonna take. So just keep that in mind. And you're gonna wanna start them a few weeks before your last frost date for springtime. So up to, I would say like 6 to 8 weeks before your frost date, giving that a little bit of time so they can germinate, and then give them a little bit of time to set up. Just keep in mind that you don't overwater your plants. It's really easy to overwater your plants. And just remember to have fun with it. The other thing to keep in mind too, granted this information is for peppers, a lot of other plants can use this same thing to get started in your basement or wherever before your springtime. Same thing for tomatoes and things. They love that heat mat, so just keep that stuff in mind. Anyways, you guys have a really good time. I hope you have fun growing your peppers. This is Brandon again from Badger Breath. Have a good one.